Yay.
In just a minute.
Webinar is now streaming live on Facebook.
All right, let's see. If you all can see us and hear us, please let me know.
I see it.
Can you see it?
It's real.
Yay! All right, we are on. We are live. Only 3 minutes late, but who cares about that? Hey everyone, this is Terry Sayers. I'm one of the co-founders of the Gorgeous Mindset Effect, and I'm here with Bree Crosshall.
Yay!
So we're gonna wait about 1 more minute just in case other people are still coming on. If you are watching us live, say hi, give us a couple of little hearts. Oh, hold on, so there's no back feed. Let us know that you can see us and hear us. Can you still hear me, Bree?
I can hear you, yep.
Okay, and do you hear any?
If I don't hear anything else. I'm looking to see if I see comments come up just so I know where I'm gonna see them at.
I'm gonna wait too, because I hear a little bit of extra feedback.
Oh,
I know what it is. Let's see. All right, 1 second. Let me turn down some of this feedback so no one else hears it. Okay. And Bree, do you hear any echo from me?
I don't at all.
Okay,
No.
Perfect. Okay. Hi, Tierney. Let's see who else is in there. Oh, and if you can still hear me, Bree, I might let you go ahead because I feel like my audio is giving me some issues. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go because I'm having a little bit of difficulty with my audio. So take it away, and I'll hide myself in just a moment.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm so excited to be here with you all. And actually even more excited this morning when we got to start our first exercise for the summer of self-love. It was so wonderful to get to learn and deepen the practice with the mirror work. That is such powerful stuff. So hope everybody enjoyed that today. I'll just introduce myself, tell you all a little bit about who I am and what I'm all about, and then get into becoming burnout proof. That's really my big message. So my name's Bree, and I work primarily with interpreters, healers, and empaths. We work on self-care because what I know is that this is really the foundation of being burnout proof, of staying alive and keeping our fire going inside. It's really about taking good care of ourselves. So I share this message with women, especially because as a mom of 4, I know firsthand what it's like when you put everyone else's needs before your own. I don't know if anyone else can relate to that. If you can, go ahead and put up some hearts, and I'll see if I can see them on here. But it's something that a lot of women can relate with, putting others' needs before their own. So if you take one thing from our time together tonight, I want you to remember that your needs are imperative. It's imperative that they are met, and listening to yourself deeply and really cultivating that relationship with yourself is the key. So that's the golden nugget from all of this. I'm going to go into it a little bit more deeply though, with first talking about what burnout is. This is like a really big buzzword right now because so many people are experiencing it. And I like to sum it up with a real easy way to remember. Burnout is when your input does not equal your output. You're empty. In fact, a lot of us are in a deficit. We're in a debt situation with ourselves and our energy. And what that costs us then, because when we have this deficit, we're at a loss, we're running at a loss. And many people find that it robs them of their energy, their joy, their passion, creativity, their time, effectiveness, and then really physical, tangible things like health and sleep and premature aging and eventually disease. So the good news and why I love to share this is because the fix is actually really, really simple. It takes a mindset shift, which is why this is the perfect topic to share here in the Think and Grow Gorgeous group, because it's all about mindset. So what it takes is a commitment to yourself and your own happiness. And when you show up for those things, then you're going to be well on your way to becoming burnout proof. So 3 ideas that are going to help you. The first is centering in yourself. The second is following joy. And the third is taking care of yourself, which follows really naturally from the first 2. So I'll go into those just a little bit more in depth. So the first is centering in yourself, getting a practice and a daily way of approaching life that gets you in touch with who this person is that you get to spend the rest of your life with. You are the only one who gets to spend your entire life with you. And so this first piece is about just really getting to know that person. So often we can find things to criticize about ourselves, things that we don't like, that we wish were different, that we envy in other people, that we feel like we don't have. And this centering in ourselves piece is about the opposite of all of that, is about falling in love with ourselves. It's about really getting to know us at our core, just like you would with a partner as you're falling in love, maybe and you're dating and you are talking about marriage and you're talking about committing to each other. It's a really similar process of getting to know your own quirks and your own hangups and your own strengths and your own weaknesses and taking all that and loving it and knowing it really deeply. So some questions that you can ask yourself: who is this person that I get to spend my life with? What does she value? What does she need? What brings her joy? And then you want to sit and make time to listen. So that's a big part of centering in ourselves, is to just have some quiet time during the day, whether that's a 5-minute morning meditation, whether that's a quiet drive to work where you actually let your mind clear and you tune into your body's sensations and your impulses and the thoughts that maybe run through your mind. You just get to know yourself and just be with yourself. The second is following joy. This one is really fun. And I just want to make a little note here. I'm not seeing any comments. So I think that might be a feature of the program that we're using. So just know if you are commenting, then hopefully we'll get to see those later. So number 2, follow joy. And I'm so serious about this. It seems silly, and in some ways it might even seem really trite and selfish, but this is such a huge key. So once we're listening to ourselves, we're getting to know ourselves a little bit better, we get in touch with these impulses about what actually lights us up inside, what brings us life, what brings us happiness and joy in a really deep sense, not in the fleeting, impulsive, oh, that sounds great sense. I want to have cake for dinner every night sense. Not that kind of joy, the really deep joy that actually brings us satisfaction and aliveness and vibrancy. So once we're in touch with ourselves, we can start to notice those impulses of what makes you happy, what feels really good. When someone invites you to do something or makes a request of you and you feel your insides light up with this, yes, oh yeah, I totally want to do that. That is joy. Do that. On the other hand, when somebody makes a request of you and inside you go, oh, and you feel your body kind of pull away. Anytime you feel that in your solar plexus where it contracts, and your solar plexus is this area kind of where your ribs come together in the center, just above your belly button. Anytime you feel that contract and tightness come in there, you'll know that you're trying to protect your core. And that's a signal that your body's not really into whatever it's being offered. So follow those things. When you do things, when someone asks you to do something and you do it and you don't really want to, that resentment, that sense of obligation shows in all aspects of your life, and it colors and it taints the things that we're actually trying to show up in service for. So when we can follow joy, when we can act from a place of true happiness and really high vibration is what that's all about, everything in our life starts to reflect that. It's like a mirror. And it's like having this golden fingerprint on everything that we touch because it's been done in joy. So I just want to give you so much validation and permission to actually listen to that happy place inside you and follow it more often.
So I have a question, Bree. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I love what you're saying here. And just so you know, the comments will show up in Facebook. I don't think they'll show up in the tool that we're using, because we've gone live. But so how do we take that? And for instance, most of us who, people who work that 9-to-5 job, and we're having to deal with our, our coworkers and our bosses and workloads, like what's your thought process on that, and not burning out in that sense as well?
Yes. So it's great to give an example. So as we say, you are that person in a 9-to-5 job, and you're working in this environment with a lot of constraints. You work with other people, you have a boss, maybe you have to punch in and out. Maybe you have certain obligations that you don't love, that you're not like, yeah, I can't wait to do that when I get to work. And yet you make a choice to be in this job. And so you want to be there. So whether you practice these in small ways or big ways, they're going to have the same compounding effect. So for example, if I show up to work and I have a full schedule of, meetings for the day, where I'm kind of at other people's mercy and I need to be certain places at certain times, there might be personalities that I'm interacting with that I don't particularly love, that don't light me up inside. One, I'm going to be really in touch with, why am I doing this job? So having this really overall sense of, what's my purpose here? Because we are choosing, we want to find the place where we're choosing to be in this work, whatever that is. So getting really, really clear about, how does this align with my values? Once we get to know ourselves and go, these are the things that I value. Oh, and I see how doing this job really lines up with my larger values. Maybe I'm serving in a larger way. On a daily level, those things might not be as apparent, because we all know that when we're creating something big, when we're working for a big goal or a large purpose, the daily stuff that makes that up we don't always remember. When we're raising children, we don't always remember, oh my gosh, the dishes have to be done and the laundry has to be done, but we don't always remember, like, oh right, we're raising human beings, like there's a bigger purpose here. But the more we can stay connected to that larger purpose, the easier it can be to go into those situations and stay more in touch with ourselves and find the little places where we can find joy, where maybe not everything feels joyful.
I love that. Thank you. I'm going to hide myself again.
Oh, thank you. That was a great question. So the last part of this, and the easy part, what happens when we are in touch with ourselves, we're listening, we know ourselves really well, and then we're acting from a place of joy whenever we can, the taking care of ourselves comes really naturally from that. It's like our calibration mechanism is in place. It's fully engaged because we're listening and because we're choosing joy as much as possible. Then we are able to hear our own needs come up, our own impulses, and we're able to take care of those more easily. So that may look like, taking a break and laying down for a quick 10-minute nap when our bodies really need a recharge. And we have a choice of, whether to go sit in front of the TV or go have a coffee or take a nap. Like, what's going to feel really nourishing to me, and knowing what that impulse is and moving towards it. Once we start listening, that self-care just magically starts happening a lot more easily. So it gives us space to then problem solve, because what we know is when we're in the middle of crisis and when we feel like we're a victim to our circumstance, we don't see all the opportunities and all of the creative problem solving that's available to us. Our view is very narrow and very shallow, and all we see is the problem. and all we feel is helpless. But when we're acting from a place of connection with ourselves, from a place of moving towards joy when we can, then we see, oh, there's a lot of opportunities in this moment for me to get my needs met in ways that maybe I didn't see before, because I was really attached to this one way of getting my need met. And really there are like 100 other ways that I can do it. So this becomes a positive feedback loop that then keeps us more in equity with ourselves and out of that deficit and out of debt with ourselves. And that's almost a self-sustaining process. So we know that once we kind of tip into the negative, it's easier to get lower and lower there, right? Because we're not there's a leak in our bucket and we're losing what we think we're putting in. So taking really good care of that container and being able to keep ourselves filled is the whole key there. I want to just share before I close that one tool that I love to make available to people that can help to deepen your self-awareness and your understanding of your own values, and then also get a baseline on where your self-care is at right now, is a burnout proof assessment that I have created. It's real short, and it comes along with some coaching prompts that can help you then dig deeper into how to remedy some of these things. So there's a link that I think we'll post in the comments.
Yes, we'll be posting that in just a moment.
Awesome, great. And I'm just so excited to be a part of this group, be on this self-love journey with you all for the next 28 days, and really be developing. I mean, I think looking through the workbook, the tools and the practices that we're going to be going through speak exactly to these 3 steps that I've shared. So we're all going to be doing more and more of that in the next month. So I'm really excited.
Yay! Oh my goodness. Thank you, Bree. And I really hope that you all got something out of that. Bree has a special gift. I don't know. She has this special talent. I met her a couple of weeks ago, and there's just something about her. And she actually helped me. She would give me an idea of how to actually fall asleep when I was tired, and not when I pushed past the tiredness and was staying up to 1 a.m. Like, she's amazing. So the information that she gave, like, I believe it will work for you. If you put it into practice, it will work for you. The link to her quiz is also inside of the 28-day self-love project. If you go into your account and go under the tab that says June 21st, Bree Crosshall Live Masterclass, there's a link to the quiz in there. And then also, if it's not added already, we will add it to the comments section of this. But the way that all of this ties in to what we're doing with self-love, I mean, just as Bree just talked about, but when you are tired and overwhelmed and overworked and you're not putting in that time for yourself and you're burning yourself out, like, that's the opposite of self-love. And so this week with the 28-day project, it's all about self-care and health. And this becoming burnout proof, that falls under self-care and health and taking care of your body and your mind and your soul, your spirit. So that's how all of this tied in. And I'm super grateful, Bree, for you coming on and agreeing to talk to us. I know for you, it's only about 7:20 p.m., but for some people, it's kind of late. It's after 10 p.m. So thank you, everyone, for, what did you do? Drink some coffee, have some tea, Red Bull. I told somebody to drink a Red Bull. But I'm appreciative for you all coming on. I'm going to check to see one more time if there's any questions in the Facebook group before we log off. We have just about 3-4 more minutes. I didn't want this to be any longer than a half an hour. So let me just check. And I did. And if not, you can email Bree. Her contact information will be in there as well. Looks like I don't see any. Do you see any, Bree? I don't see anything right now.
No, I don't.
But we'll put a replay. This replay will be inside of your account where all the other videos are. So you'll be able to access that. And again, if you have questions or if you want to work with Bree one-on-one, please reach out to her. She's awesome. I think she has some group programs coming up too. So that's something to check out and look into. Anything else you want to say?
No, this is wonderful. I just love getting to connect with you. And I feel like us meeting recently was just such a divine connection.
I agree. I agree. The first of many. So thank you for kicking off the 28-day self-love project with us. We really appreciate it. Yeah. And for everyone else, I hope you have a fantastic night. Day 2 of the self-love project is coming up tomorrow. So 5 a.m. Look for your email. And we'll talk to you all later. Thanks again for joining. Bree, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.